Welcome back, tribe. So, found a weird clip here from MSNBC. Of course, lefties are losing it. Trump derangement syndrome is at an all-time high as he's climbing in the polls and getting so far ahead of Kamala that they can't steal. So anyways, they're now losing their collective noggins and saying that Trump is killing women because of abortion bans.
His cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us.
Wow.
He is putting us at risk.
You see the rhetoric here for abortion ban? He didn't ban abortions, by the way. All he did was ban the federal government from making that decision for the states. He put the power back into the states' hands, respecting the Constitution, no?
Risk. He is making us afraid to have babies. He is putting reproductive health at risk, and some women have.
Isn't this what they do with the certain ideology that chops up women's breasts and guys' penises? Like, literally the stuff they're saying right here, isn't this what's actually happening? The gaslighting they're doing to you, the projecting is what they're causing when they put these young people on brain-altering medication. They numb them up completely, and then they convince them that they should go through surgical procedures that they can never take back. They're given the same drugs that castrate certain people that commit crimes against young people. Isn't that wild?
Have died already because of this. So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots.
We're idiots. TDS, baby. Listen, I don't really like either political party overall. I think it's part of a bigger machine of special interest and money lizards controlling everything. But the cabinet he's setting up, the people he has around him, from RFK Jr., from Tulsi Gabbard, from Vivek, from I don't know who other, all these other people, is varied enough, diverse enough for me that I feel comfortable, because I was an RFK Jr. fan. And I would have voted for him had he got the Democratic nomination. But of course, the corrupt party's not going to let that guy through. And picking Trump means that the cabinet left behind in the years post-Trump could shape a pivotal moment in America's history on the direction this country chooses to go. Because it is true what they say. If you vote Kamala, if you go Democrat, probably the last real election potentially that you could have. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but 20-something plus million people came into this country illegally across the border. And everywhere they went, a majority of those places want to allow you to vote without voter ID laws, which almost every single country in the world, in the modern world, mandates that they have voter ID registration.
About what Trump has said about Hitler, that's incredibly important to know. But I do understand that people who are busy and that are people who are just tapping in may not be able to comprehend because we've been free. We've been comfortable. We cannot comprehend that. And I understand that. I validate that it is hard to go from here to there. It is where we're going. I hope we don't find out the hard way. But what's happening with women.
It's already over. You guys lost. You snubbed the dude that was the president. You brought in his plan B. You did it last minute. The people didn't vote for this lady in here. There's nothing democratic about the process. She doesn't connect with ordinary Americans. There's a lot of history on her that she slept her way to the top. She was inept as a prosecutor, had put innocent people in jail and withheld evidence. I mean, there's so much on that woman. And I'm not saying Trump is perfect either, but if you've even watched his Joe Rogan podcast, which if you guys want me to, I would cover here, because it's so interesting to hear the human side of him. At least the dude can admit, yeah, I picked the wrong people. I never been a politician before. That was my first time in office. And I got 6-7 different politicians coming up to me saying, I vouch for this guy, I vouch for that guy. So he filled his cabinet up with the swamp instead of draining it. He made a lot of mistakes. Can he do better his second time around? Well, his second time around, the only benefit I'll give him, even though he's gotten in bed with Peter Thiel and other billionaires to fund his campaign, the only benefit I would give him is that he will never get reelected again. So all this is for his legacy. He wants to leave a good legacy for his Trump name, brand, and his kids. So will the guy do his best? I sure hope so. The left says this is a ploy to just stay out of jail, but is it? And he's got me super interested talking about bringing tariffs back at the levels they used to be, where the government was surviving from tariffs, and doing away with personal taxes, income tax, or at least the majority of it. We hired 80,000 something IRS agents to harass poor people for a few pennies. So much for the Democrats being the party of the working man. What happened with that? And then underneath this post, it says, nah, Kamala Harris deciding vote is actually killing you. Facts. Look, murdered under borders are. So these were, I'm going to go ahead and say women that were either raped or no, these are murdered. So they were probably potentially raped or just robbed. Anyways, killed for, or I should say by, illegal migrants, criminals that crossed the border illegally. I would like it if we stop with the wordplay, because they've shifted the Overton window on what words mean so much that we can't see straight anymore where we need to. Criminals. If you cross the border illegally, you are a criminal. Can we say criminals that have come across the border? I don't care if you brought your family. I don't give a shit. You did it the wrong way. You're a criminal. Criminals went and did criminal activities against these poor women. And then they'll have not this video, but I've seen all the recent campaigns for Kamala, where the Democratic Party is essentially calling up all their little woke nut jobs from Hollywood and the music industry and wherever else they're pulling people. Like they had Beyonce there. They have Usher now supporting Kamala. They've had, who else they had there? It was Leonardo DiCaprio, Eminem. I mean, Eminem of all people. Dude. What a disappointment. But he was in a dress. He was part of the humiliation ritual from the very beginning of his career, most likely. It's pathetic, bro. I don't even know what to say anymore. The people I grew up to listening, spitting some fire on the mic, making some dope-ass movies are all little peds walking around. Part of some dark, disgusting, depraved culture of, I don't know, the liberal elite. Hollywood and the music industry. And all the Diddy stuff coming up, just showing that these people are in bed with the nastiest, disgusting human beings that could possibly live on the face of our earth. And they are some of the most influential people, unfortunately. Is it a surprise that the Democratic Party is tapping into all these contacts and have somehow these people are supposed to sway us like, I love Eminem. I should vote Kamala because Eminem. So, oh my God, I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I should vote Leo because they won't kill women if I do. Oh my God, Beyonce, no way. Billie Eilish, wow. Taylor Swift, wow. I'm voting Democrat. Like, how brain rotted can you be? How brain dead could you possibly be? It's insane, the state of this country and the people that are allowed to vote. It blows my mind.
The rebels are Republicans now. They're like, you want to be a rebel, you want to be punk rock, you want to buck the system, you're a conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online. They're talking about regulating free speech and that regulating the First Amendment. It's bananas to watch.
Joe, they come after their political opponent.
Well, I
got more guys. I always say, I kid, but I'm not kidding. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the meanest of them all. He'd kill you in 2 seconds if he didn't like you, right? I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone. Only because it's political opponent stuff. And I won the big case in Florida. I'm winning the other stuff. You win. But you know what they did? They did something that's only done in third world countries. They came after their political opponent. Yeah. I could have put crooked Hillary in jail.
Well, not only that, but they're weaponizing it by saying that that's what you're going to do once you get in office.
Isn't it great?
By ignoring what they're doing right now. It's crazy.
I heard it. Somebody was defending me today. They said, they say, that's what you're doing to him. They're going, he's going to put us in jail. He's going to invest.
That's what you're doing.
That's what you're doing to him.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, will you do that? Will you do that to him, to them, if you win? The presidency has tremendous power. I could have put crooked Hillary
I respected that you didn't, because what you said was it would be bad for the country. The rebels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Because when I was a kid, do you guys remember you would see those vans, the buggy vans, the V-dubs, and it would be like hippies, right? And they would have all those little stickers on there, and it'd be like, F the system, down with the man, and they would have like a cross over the CIA, over the FBI, and no war, only peace, make love, not war, all that stuff, all the hippie stuff, man, the peace sign and all that stuff. That was the liberal party. That was liberal mentality. Now the liberals are for like government boot down your throat, choking you, put your mask on, follow the rules, snitch on your neighbor if he doesn't follow the orders. It's like commie policies that my parents used to tell me about before we left Romania. Like when they were young and they came to America and emigrated, they used to tell me about the bread lines. They used to tell me about the criminals that were never prosecuted, the corruption in the government, how the liberal elite, well, you don't want to call them our liberal elite in America lived this way now, but how the communist elite back then lived lavishly while everyone around them starved to death. How people's lives did not matter. How the state looked at you as a means to an end. You didn't have a right over your own body. You had no autonomy, bodily autonomy. You had nothing. The state ordered you to work, ordered you to produce, or it would imprison you where it would force you to produce anyways for nothing. People have no idea, dude, no idea the system that they're trying to vote for, the Marxist/communist policies that they're trying to implement in the United States, DEI, all these woke systems, until you come from former communist countries. And it's insane that it has reached a new form with like a fresh coat of paint in the United States. And people literally on the left are arguing for the policies that have kept Eastern or Balkan Europe behind, catching up with Western Europe for so many years, continues persistent today at a fundamental level. It has infected society. It's hard to really get rid of. Even with all the trade opening up, with the borders opening up, with the EU opening up, I can tell you right now, I'm in Romania, and the communist stench still exists and is holding this country back in many ways. In all the ways it actually even counts. When we're talking about healthcare, when we're talking about infrastructure, when we're talking about jobs, earnings, and quality of life, as opposed to the Western peers. It's insane, bro. It's insane. It's sad to see because I truly believe America is still the greatest country on earth, the land of opportunity. You can make things happen. It's gotten harder and harder because these policies are mimicking the communist policies Europe used to have more and more and more. It's wild. It's just a fresh coat of paint on old ideas, and it's destroying people all the same. It doesn't matter. You're still in a hoopty. It's still taking you right off the cliff. People don't see this. There are young people arguing against their own self-interest when they vote for these people. They no longer support independence, the party of free speech. Like, imagine you want to say you live in a democracy, in a free society, and you're trying to argue why it would be okay to dismantle the First Amendment. The one amendment that literally, two, first and second, but the first one that separates America from every single country on earth. The fact that you can say whatever you want, and it is within your right. The second one is arming yourself. Everybody has a weapon or can, and the government cannot stop you. It's not allowed to disarm you. Bro, I don't know what to say anymore, guys. But if you haven't watched the Joe Rogan podcast, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I'm going to tell you right now, living in Europe, hearing about the past, seeing what it's done to the people here, the choice is clear. I'll tell you that much. You don't have to love it. And what happens after Trump will be the most important part, how America is set up for the next couple of decades to come, how his administration's ran. Because I'm going to tell you right now, turning this boat around is going to take more than one presidential term. This is a long haul fix that we have to do. 4 years is not enough. He's not going to make America great again in 4 years. That's not how you do this. It took decades to bring us to this point. It's going to take decades to turn the ship. It's like an oil tanker. It moves very slow and it turns even slower. And it's going to take a big ass wide turn to get that puppy going back around where it came from. So be patient, but there is no other option, no better option, unless we could start a third party somehow, unless we can bring down the two-party government, unless we go out there and protest for our rights wholesale in mass where the government can't ignore you. That's really the only way. It's like grassroots. But everybody has a bit of fatigue for the political theater and the extremism and the tribalism that we're all facing and being divided by. So curious on everybody's thoughts. Anyways, see you guys on the next one.